on Saturday. You know, you see what happened, but it's okay. Wins and losses is what makes us bosses. You know, we did everything right in training camp, no excuses. I just don't know how Ryan did everything wrong and won, but like I said, no excuses. All glory be to Allah. But something crazy, though, is I was on the prayer mat today, and Allah was just telling me he's going to test positive for his drug test. Keeps going in my brain, and I'm like, no excuses. I mean, everything happens for a reason. And he keeps saying he's going to test positive for his drug test. He's going to test positive for his drug test. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, all glory be to Allah. There's none worthy of worship but Allah. And, yeah.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Wow. Ryan Garcia is out and about supporting his friend Canelo Alvarez. He's talking spicy. He's still dissing Devin Haney. He says there will be no rematch. I made the Devin Haney fight look so easy, and he'll never, and I repeat, Ryan is saying Devin will never be the same. Roll the clip.
So supposedly I'm clean the whole way through. The last literal moment I supposedly took steroids. I'm not that much of a idiot. These motherfuckers set it up. How they have this excuse already built in? I never took steroids in life, never would. These motherfuckers clowns. He just claimed I don't want no rematch. So there won't be no rematch. I beat the out of him. It was the easiest fight I've ever had in my life. So I'm not gonna fight him again. I felt like I was fighting an amateur. I made it look like he shouldn't even be in the ring with me. He's never gonna be the same after the whooping.
We are truly living in different times. It's actually pretty remarkable to think about it. And on my channel, sometimes I put stuff in a perspective that you can't deny. So what do I mean? Now, if you follow the channel, you'll know Ryan Garcia tested positive. They're saying it might not just be the one ostarine substance, which is banned, but it could be the nandrolone metabolites, right? Which is, again, in his system, according to his A sample. He did say he's going to have his B sample tested, but as I've already told you, what happens with the samples is you pee into a cup, you know, you pour it into the sample A testing kit, and then the sample is split, and then the rest of it goes into sample B. You put the little seal on it and you bag it up, whatever. It goes off to testing. So from my experience, what I've seen, probably, I can't say 10 times out of 10, but I would say very high number, like 9 times out of 10. If they tested it and found X, Y, and Z, given that it's really the same sample, the same random test, just split into two, it's at the fighter's expense. So when they open the sample B and retest it, unless there was some kind of lab error, it's probably going to test for the same things. Now, that's just my experience in boxing. And a lot of times people don't even test the B sample because, like I just mentioned, the fighter must pay for it. I will say Ryan Garcia, this whole promotion has continued to do things really his way. And what I mean is, it's maybe a sign of the times, but you have a fighter in Ryan Garcia who tested positive, popped dirty, and he is the fighter that is showing face. He is the fighter that is out and about doing interviews. You know, now I did do a video, check that video on the channel. Devin Haney did do one interview that I've seen since this news came out. And he said he kind of felt that something was up because he's never been like overmatched. And he's basically admitting that Ryan dogged him, you know, for lack of a better word, in layman's terms. He said, I've never been overmatched like that. And he talks about questioning his team, questioning himself, questioning preparation. Now you guys can understand why I said the road back for Devin Haney is likely to be a long one. It's unfortunate in the sport of boxing, but they don't have any kind of, this is not a Rona test where they can just do a rapid testing and see if you have Rona, if you can come in the building or not. They're testing for so many different things. They're testing for different banned substances. It takes time. There's just no other way to put it. So if Ryan popped dirty from tests the day of the weigh-in, the day before the fight, the 19th and April 20th, there's no way those test results will be back in time to block the fight. It's just the nature of the testing protocol. And it's kind of hard to get around that, because if you had a cutoff point where you say, hey, testing stops on the 16th or whatever date, so we have enough time to get the results back by the fight, then fighters could still cheat because they know the schedule. The way to catch people is the randomness of the test. If the test is not random, then you know, it's like, let's say there's someone who got out of prison or something and they got a probation officer, they got a PO, right? And if you know what days you have to check in and there's no random check-ins and you just have to meet with your PO, or they'll stop by if you're on house arrest or something, and you know their exact schedule, even if you were doing stuff or you were like smoking weed or something you weren't allowed to do, if you knew their schedule, you could just make sure everything's on the up and up for the schedule. So that's why you can't really do it. And that's why Floyd, when he was talking about Pacquiao, kept requesting Olympic style testing, random blood and random urine testing for Manny Pacquiao. I believe, because if you're going to try your best to catch people, it has to be random. So you can't take out the randomness of the test and expect to catch the same amount of people. Now, Ryan did bring up, I think it's circumstantial, and it doesn't mean that he didn't cheat. But I too thought that was an interesting point, because he says, they said I tested positive on the 19th and the 20th, which is the day before the fight and the day of the fight. But he said all my other tests leading up to the fight. So when he was doing all the antics, all the bizarre stuff, when people were saying, hey, cancel the fight, including myself, cancel the fight, some people were even saying this man's on drugs, any type of drugs, not just like anabolic steroids and stuff. People just thought he was on drugs in general. So people were like, test this man, test this man. And he was telling the world he had to go through psych evaluations and these types of things. He passed all these mental evaluations. He passed all the drug tests to that moment. And then on a fight week, you know, this stuff shows up, you know, which is possible. Even if someone's cheating, maybe they're microdosing and they're cycling on and off. You had a test that you didn't expect or whatever, or maybe because you're trying to cut weight, maybe it shows up a little bit different. I don't know. But Ryan is saying, yo, if I wanted to do this, then why would I pass all my tests and start doing stuff that close to the fight? Which I agree with that. It would be so hot. The spot would be hot, and it would be so risky to wait to the fight week, because some of these different PEDs and stuff, you can get it out of your system quick. The half-life might be 24, 48 hours. So if he's testing positive, it kind of sounds like if he cheated with this stuff, that he did it sometime during fight week, and that's why it came out in fight week test, or sometime in that recent window. So that seems like a very hot window for somebody. And I don't know, you'd have to ask one of the PED experts, but I don't really know what the benefit would be to do it so close to the fight. Normally, what I've seen when people, that's why a lot of people get caught in camp from the random test, like Gerald Miller, and they were able to stop and prevent Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Big Baby Miller and bring in Andy Ruiz. The reason being is because most people, I think these cycles and microdosing and stuff, you want the effects of it in training camp. Like when you want the endurance, you're running, you're jogging, this, that, and the third. So it does seem a bit weird. Doesn't mean either way he did or didn't do it, but it does seem weird to pass all the tests and then you're doing it so close to the fight. Now, Ryan Garcia is also blaming Victor Conte. He says he's malicious and basically they're trying to frame me. And Devin Haney, they didn't expect him to lose. And if he did lose, they weren't expecting it to be like so devastating a loss. So Ryan's standpoint from what he's saying is they're trying to frame me. Like you've seen movies where the cops put the drugs, like Training Day, you know, where Alonzo is the crooked cop and he's planting stuff at certain people's house and weapons that were used in the commission of a crime that have a body on it, you know, that serial number. And then because Alonzo from Training Day, yeah, King Kong ain't got on me, huh? Yeah. Remember, he showed up to Macy Gray's spot and he had the Chinese food menu and he said he had a warrant and he was just doing whatever he wants and steals money and stuff. Basically that, where like you plant the evidence and stuff like that. He's saying that somebody involved, this is like deeper than boxing, and they're conspiring against him. He's been exposing elites. He beat Devin Haney and people were saying Devin Haney got exposed, and he believes that since Devin Haney is with the snack program, right, and Victor Conte helped VADA create some of the testing protocols with VADA, he's under the impression that he's been set up. So I'm not going to really dive too deep into a bunch of opinions that I have. This is like one big soap opera, one big movie. And ultimately, I'm just going to wait this one out because I don't like to do the same work twice. I don't want to overstep my boundaries. I'll let the scientists and the experts and the investigation commence. And then, you know, we'll see what happens. Because for me, my credibility means something. I know in this boxing game, I'm a rarity. I know I'm last of a dying breed. I'm not just going to accuse someone of this. And like, I get it if it's in the system, but I don't know where this goes. Point blank, period. Because these are some pretty serious implications. And either he did it or he didn't do it. We got to see what even comes up. I wish I would get on record and start finger pointing or saying, aha, ding dong, the witch is dead. And then some other plot twist comes. This whole fight has been filled with antics, you know, conjecture, weird moments, twists and turns. So, like I said, I was hoping to be done with this. I was hoping to be done with this fight after April 20th, but this is the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm just going to see how this stuff plays out. Now, Gervonta Davis has sided with Ryan Garcia, and he says, I will never be using VADA no more. So he too has almost backed Ryan Garcia and says he doesn't believe that Ryan Garcia needed to cheat for Devin Haney. And there's this interview that Ryan Garcia did today. And Ryan Garcia, he said, come on, y'all. Why would I cheat? He said, when I fought Tank Davis, who's a savage, menacing puncher and a skilled boxer with IQ and accurate with his shots, he says, we did vigorous training. He was saying there was no snack involved in that fight. And there was vigorous training and there was vigorous testing with the Gervonta Davis fight. And he posed a question. I passed all my tests for that fight. Why do you think I would need to cheat specifically for Devin Haney? Like, basically he's saying in layman's terms, who is Devin Haney? If I was going to cheat on a fight, I would try to cheat Tank because he's the more savage of the two, or the bigger puncher and things like that. But that's circumstantial evidence, you know, because one could argue, hey, you didn't want to take a second loss real bad in such a short period of time, so that's why you cheated, you know, because Devin's a skilled boxer and have been bulking up, you know. So this is all circumstantial evidence. I'm just laying out the facts. We'll see how it all plays out, but everybody's presenting their arguments. Ryan makes it sound like he's going to get his B sample tested, and he believes that there's foul play. And I told you guys on my channel, stay tuned to the end of this video, because I'm going to remind you, y'all must have forgot. I literally told you this was coming. I said Ryan had set up the play so nicely that it became a win-win for himself and a lose-lose for Devin Haney. People didn't understand when I said that. Stay tuned to this end of this video. They didn't understand when I say it, but now with all things that have come out, they definitely understand it now. Ryan boxed for Trump, and he says, hey, look, I get spotted with Trump. I endorse Trump. And then days later, they say I failed a test when I've never failed for any other previous fight. So I'm seeing it. I'm seeing people with Trump and Trump supporters backing Ryan Garcia. And I could tell because their bio and their pictures and the Make America Great Again hats and stuff like that. And they're like, we believe you, Ryan, and you beat him fair and square. And other people who not necessarily Trump supporters, but just fans in general. And they're like, hey, PEDs or no PEDs, they're saying Devin Haney had some defensive lapses and a bad game plan, that the PEDs didn't stop you from not getting out of the way and having a defense for that hook. So you guys can see everything I said came to pass. Ryan has attracted this newfound fan base, QAnon fans and Candace Owen Trump fans, Joe Rogan fans, Andrew Tate Trump fans, all this, right? Barron Trump fans, and they riding for Ryan Garcia despite the fact that this man, it looks like he cheated. At least that's what the record shows right now. And they say, who cares? Told you it was a lose-lose for Devin Haney and a win-win for Ryan, because Ryan has money, so there's no logical fine that I could think of from the New York State Athletic Commission. Like, Canelo didn't even get fined when he failed the test in 2018 for the clenbuterol. So Ryan might not have a fine. We'll have to see how it plays out. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but there are people, just so you know, that they're riding with Ryan Garcia, backing Ryan Garcia. His base is staying loyal. Just look in the comment sections, right? And Devin Haney, unfortunately, if Ryan did cheat, the damage has been done. He took the punishment. He took those punches, and his dad didn't throw in the towel. And he did get beat up, which is what Ryan is now saying. And Ryan keeps saying it. He said, I beat him fair and square. He will never be the same fighter. Ironically, your boy Boxingego, who continues to get it right in the world of boxing, I said something similar. I said, normally I don't really try to put any kind of stigmas on fighters' futures or tell the fighter when to retire and things like that. But he took a beating. That's a lot of physical damage. Devin Haney, we're talking about. He sounded shaken up in his first ESPN interview, and that's not good for a fighter. One fateful night can change your whole impression and your whole reputation in the world of boxing. People are saying, oh, Devin was not that good. He has a leaky defense. His chin ain't good. You know, no power. All for one night. It is because he was on top of the world in December at the fight I went to with Devin versus Regis Prograis. Now, Ryan has his conspiracy theory as to why he failed. And again, I'm not going to weigh in too much on it. I'm just going to give you guys the facts, show you all the sides, and wait. Boxing, just so you know, is dirty, it's corrupt, it's all kinds of politics, and it's just a lot of information for one to process. That's why people are split. Some people are like, Ryan, you're a cheater, ban him for life, get him out of the sport. But then you also have a segment of the audience that were like, nah, Devin Haney just got whooped. I don't think Ryan cheated. And they're believing him. Now you guys can see everything I said was 1000% true. And some of Ryan's conspiracy theory or circumstantial evidence, if you will, it does make sense. Like, it is plausible, or it does make you at least question it. And that's the trick with these conspiracy theories. If someone presents a good enough case, you know, it could make people believe them and think. For example, Devin Haney's brother made a video and he said that Allah, aka his God, told him before Ryan failed the drug test that Ryan was gonna fail a drug test. So with Ryan pushing this is Victor Conti's work, and he was involved in Balco, and they're trying to frame me. It makes clips like that. People are in the comment section like, hold on. How did Devin Haney's brother say that God told him, Allah told him that Ryan was going to fail a drug test? How did he know that? You know? And I'll show you the clip in the next 30 seconds. So it's raising a lot of eyebrows with Ryan's argument, whether it's true. Like, it could be he cheated and he's just saying this, but that's the danger with these conspiracy theories. Like I said, Ryan Garcia says on his verified X account, he says, see, this is pretty sus. So Devin's brother, I believe, says that he knew I was going to test positive for PEDs. This is definitely fishy, fishy, fishy. And he has the clip of Devin's brother, and somehow 3 days after the fight, when he did this video, he's saying that God told him that Ryan cheated and that he was going to fail, which does seem a bit bizarre.
On Saturday, you know, you see what happened, but it's okay. Wins and losses is what makes us bosses. You know, we did everything right in training camp, no excuses. I just don't know how Ryan did everything wrong and won, but like I said, no excuses. All glory be to Allah. But something crazy though is I was on the prayer mat today, and Allah was just telling me he was going to test positive for his drug test. Keeps going. And Allah was just, all glory be to Allah. But something crazy though is I was on the prayer mat today, and Allah was just telling me he was going to test positive for his drug test. Keeps going in my brain, and I'm like, no excuses. I mean, everything happens for a reason. And he keeps saying he's going to test positive for his drug test. He's going to test positive for his drug test. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, all glory be to Allah. There's none worthy of worship but Allah. And, yeah.
So that's Devin Haney's brother, and you got to admit that does seem rather fishy. Like, his brother is saying I was on the prayer mat and I was talking to Allah, I was talking to God, and God told me that Ryan was going to test positive. But no excuses, no excuses. We'll see what happens. I don't know, man. We're just going to have to watch this Lifetime movie play out. But I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. How did Devin Haney's brother know of the failed test literally a week before? Was this just a guess, or he was, you know, maybe he was in denial because he didn't think that Ryan was capable? He said, and the other thing is, he said Ryan did everything wrong and basically still beat my brother. So this is just getting very deep. I thought, again, we'd be over, but we're not. Check out my watch party and join the waiting list for Canelo Munguia. If you would like to do live streams and have the setup like this, consider my link for StreamYard. It's an affiliate link that does help the channel when you guys click it. I'm giving you guys a 14-day free trial with StreamYard. Use that link, get your own stream going, 14 days free, courtesy of Boxingego, and then the rest is on you. Let me know what you guys think of all this Devin and Ryan drama.